Hey everyone, Trent here. I was super excited to check out the Spider-Man Far From Home Sydney premiere last night, and it did not disappoint whatsoever. There are going to be no spoilers in this video, so I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I have to say I did have a lot of fun, and this serves as the perfect bookend to Marvel's Phase 3 of the cinematic universe. I was very nervous after the events of Endgame, how it was going to tie in, was it going to rely on those events too much? Ultimately, this was very much a standalone film, and it benefited from it. It had a lot of rom-com vibes, and you might say, oh, that's not what we want. But for me, this worked a lot, and it kind of disguised itself as a superhero film. There were the superhero elements, particularly in Act 3, but we really got to focus on the romantic relationships in Peter Parker's life, which is the epitome of Peter Parker. This is what I like about what Marvel and Sony have done with this reinvented version. They are taking, even though they have manipulated and twisted specific elements, they are keeping true to the character's roots. And the main focus is the relationship between Peter Parker and MJ. Well, this version of MJ. And that really plays to the film's strength. Tom Holland is so likable as Peter. I could see him just playing the role for so many years, and it will reflect what Peter actually was to a lot of fans. He's the every hero. He's the blue collar, trying his best, naive, and learning through his life's mistakes that everyone can relate to. And we get to grow up with him and experience his life through things that are similar to us. So naturally, romance is going to be that part. And his relationship with Zendaya, it plays off so well. Both characters bring such energy to the role. I can't actually fault them in this at all. And it's natural energy. It doesn't seem forced. Holland and Zendaya have this natural chemistry that through, if you've seen their press junkets and behind the scenes kind of stuff where they're hanging out, they are genuine friends. They genuinely are having a lot of fun on these projects, and it's really brought onto screen. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel awkward. The awkward nature is due to probably their characters overall. Holland is quite awkward in interviews and such, and Zendaya is just this amazing bundle of energy, and it plays off really well. And then we have Jon Favreau returning as Happy Hogan. He does a good job, even though he's in a support role, as does Marissa Tomei. They all play their roles well in this film, and that's where the film focuses on the characterization and character development. And we see Peter going international while still keeping it small scale, as if he is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, only he's in London, Germany, Czech Republic, and the Netherlands. So it is a lot of fun. It is not a movie without faults by any means. And the school field trip overseas is both the benefit and the hindrance to the film. We get a lot of time with the classmates, Flash Thompson, Betty Brant. There's a lot of good development there, but at times in specific scenes, there's too much focus, and this comes down to the teachers as well. They feel the need to give Mr. Harrington and Mr. Bell far too much screen time, and their jokes often do fall flat. Like, they're put into scenes where there's no connection to anything, and it's almost as if to say, yeah, they had a certain amount of screen time that they needed to fill in. A lot of their jokes and a lot of their involvement hindered the movie, as did a lot of the kind of plot developments that happened. They made sense, but it was just like, okay, we are suspending a lot of disbelief for this to happen. Samuel L. Jackson back as Nick Fury, absolutely kicking all sorts of ass, as is Colby Smulders as Maria Hill. They did great in the role, and it really shows just how much Samuel L. Jackson can bring to a movie. He added a lot to Captain Marvel, he's added a lot to the Marvel Universe, and now he's really taken on Peter as kind of the protege, almost like a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, as he did in The Ultimate Spider-Man. And we get to see that relationship build. So there's a lot of relationship building and a lot of character building in this movie. And that is not a hindrance. It's a great thing because it's going to build on to future franchises. And I think it's going to do really well to play off what happened in Homecoming to what happens now. And I can see it moving on to the future and having good ramifications. What else is a strong suit is Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. I love Mysterio. He looks awesome. The designs, the costume work in this movie, let's just touch on that quickly, is fantastic. I love it. But Gyllenhaal, he's a solid actor. You know he's going to deliver, and he did deliver in this. He showed a lot of range, a lot of versatility, and I really liked him as Quentin Beck. He looked like Quentin Beck. So he did great. The plot, whilst there were some issues, it was really well paced. It moved along. There were some times when there was some things that were going on and some sort of character development or realization in the story where we got the good old fashioned let's tell the audience what is going on. I don't like that. And there was one particular moment where we find out who the actual villain of the movie is, where it's explained why within this 1 minute monologue, and it brings into focus a whole lot of different characters that you don't care about and don't really mean anything. I would have rather the audience figure that out for themselves through clues or through just the general progression of the movie. Not let's just hit the dead half of the movie and then here's the villain. It just didn't work for me, and I felt like it treated the audience as kind of dumb, and I don't like that. I would have liked for it to be a natural progression and whatever mystery that's going is unfolding. But let's talk about the action sequences. The director, John Watts, he nailed this movie so much. The dynamic nature of all the action, it's as if you are following, it's as if they actually attached a drone to Peter. We don't get the first person kind of look we did in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise when he's web zipping, but the camera is following Peter around so much, it actually feels like you're on a roller coaster ride following around. There are some great, like, 360 shots. I don't know how they did them, whether it's CGI or just however they did it. It was just phenomenal. So, kudos to John Watts. He made this movie look visually stunning with his direction, and I loved it. The CGI monsters of the Elementals, we didn't really get much of them. They were kind of there as a MacGuffin, as was a couple of other things, and that's not a bad thing. If you have too many characters in a movie, it could have held it back, but they were used effectively and for story building purposes, which I liked. So, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It's not without its flaws. I did enjoy it more than Homecoming. The characters were the really big, strong focus. The action set pieces, when they were used, were great, even though I would have preferred a little bit more. And to see, there was one particular scene at the halfway point, just at the end of Act 2, that brought such a huge damn smile to my face, and thinking about it now, I'm still very, very happy with it. It's the most comic booky thing that I've seen, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I loved it, and I would have liked to have seen so much more of it. It just got me craving more, and unfortunately it wasn't used. But for what we got in this little, probably, I'm going to say 5-minute little section, it was worth everything. And if you're a comic book fan, you will appreciate it and you will love it and you will want to see so much more. So that's all I can go into without spoiling it. Check out my spoiler review where I will go into detail about this particular scene. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It was a lot of fun. The characters were strong, but there were just some elements that kind of held it back just that little bit too much. But yeah, I'm Trent. Let me know your thoughts on Spider-Man Far From Home when you see it. What was your favorite moment? What do you enjoy? Do you like Tom Holland? Do you like Zendaya? It was great. Anyway, I'm Trent. Follow our handles at Fortress Nerds, and as always, you're watching The Fortress.